In September 2017, 19-year-old Corinna Slusser vanished from a Bronx hotel, falling victim to a dangerous sex trafficking ring. Led astray by promises of a glamorous life, her disappearance unraveled a dark web of exploitation and manipulation. Dive into the gripping true crime story of Corinna Slusser, the sinister individuals involved, and the relentless pursuit for justice. Join us as we uncover the mystery and heartache behind this haunting case. Stay tuned for an unforgettable journey into the shadows.
Corinna Slusser was a bright and vibrant young woman from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, known for her infectious smile and passion for cheerleading. Born on March 6, 1998, she enjoyed a relatively happy childhood, although her family faced challenges, particularly after her parents separated. Seeking a fresh start and new opportunities, Corinna moved to New York City in the summer of 2017. Little did she know, her dream of an exciting new life would turn into a nightmare. Upon arriving in New York, Corinna met Ishiwani, a man who promised her a glamorous life but instead entrapped her in the dangerous world of sex trafficking. Wani, known for exploiting young women, manipulated Corinna's trust and coerced her into prostitution. On August 25, 2017, Corinna moved into a hotel in the Bronx, marking the beginning of a terrifying ordeal. By September 12, 2017, Corinna was last seen at the Haven Motel in Queens, where she was staying with Wani. Her sudden disappearance sent shockwaves through her family and friends. Desperate for answers, her mother, Sabina Torto, and aunt, Julie Becker, described Corinna as a trusting and naive young woman who had been cruelly misled. Despite their efforts to find her, Corinna's whereabouts remained unknown, and the case quickly grew cold. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Corinna's social media posts painted a haunting picture of a young woman feeling trapped and desperate. She hinted at her distress, calling out for help that never came. These posts became crucial pieces of evidence for investigators, though they raised more questions than answers. On September 10, 2017, just 2 days before her disappearance, Corinna filed a complaint with the NYPD, alleging that Wani had assaulted her. Despite this, she continued to stay with him, likely out of fear and coercion. This interaction with the police highlighted the complex dynamics of her situation, where fear and manipulation played significant roles. As months turned into years, the hope of finding Corinna alive began to fade. Despite extensive searches and numerous tips, her trail went cold. The NYPD and FBI launched a joint investigation, focusing on the possibility that she had fallen victim to a larger sex trafficking ring. The complexity of these networks made the search incredibly challenging. Corinna's story is a tragic example of how vulnerable young women can be exploited and manipulated. Her disappearance highlighted the dangers of the sex trafficking industry in New York City and the urgent need for more robust protections and resources for at-risk individuals. Despite the relentless efforts of law enforcement, Corinna's fate remained a chilling mystery. Her family never gave up, tirelessly pushing for answers and keeping her story alive in the public eye. Their unwavering commitment underscored the devastating impact of her disappearance on those who loved her. Corinna's case became a symbol of the hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface of urban life, serving as a grim reminder of the manipulative tactics used by traffickers to lure their victims. Corinna's disappearance also shed light on the broader issue of sex trafficking in New York City. The investigation revealed a network of exploitation that preyed on vulnerable young women, using manipulation and coercion to trap them in a life of prostitution. This network, which included individuals like Ishiwani, operated with a disturbing level of sophistication and ruthlessness. Despite the challenges, the investigation into Corinna's disappearance continued. Law enforcement agencies collaborated, sharing information and resources in the hopes of cracking the case. Each new lead provided a glimmer of hope, but the complexity of the trafficking network often led to dead ends. The tireless efforts of investigators and advocates underscored the profound impact of Corinna's case on the fight against sex trafficking. As the documentary unfolds, viewers are drawn into the harrowing journey of Corinna Slusser and the relentless search for justice. Her story, though deeply tragic, serves as a rallying cry for change. It highlights the need for vigilance, compassion, and action to protect vulnerable individuals and combat the pervasive issue of sex trafficking. Corinna Slusser's disappearance on September 12, 2017, marked the beginning of a harrowing journey for her family and friends. Entrapped by Ishiwani and coerced into a life of exploitation, Corinna's tragic story sheds light on the insidious nature of sex trafficking and the desperate need for justice and closure. Join us as we uncover the misery and heartache behind this haunting case. The investigation into Corinna Slusser's disappearance was a complex and arduous journey, marked by numerous challenges and moments of hope that ultimately led to more questions than answers. From the beginning, law enforcement faced criticism for their initial response, which many felt was too slow and uncoordinated. However, as the gravity of the situation became clear, the NYPD and FBI launched a joint investigation, pooling their resources to uncover the truth. At the center of the investigation was Ishiwani, the man who had lured Corinna into the dangerous world of sex trafficking. Wani, known for his violent tendencies and involvement in trafficking, quickly became a primary person of interest. His criminal background and connections to larger trafficking networks made him a crucial figure in the search for Corinna. Various theories emerged about what might have happened to Corinna. Some investigators believed she had been trafficked out of state or even out of the country, given Wani's extensive connections. Others feared she had been murdered, her body hidden to avoid detection. The lack of concrete evidence made it difficult to substantiate any single theory definitively, adding to the frustration and heartbreak of her loved ones. Corinna's social media activity provided some clues, but also raised more questions. Before her disappearance, she posted about feeling trapped and desperate, hinting at her involvement in something dangerous. Investigators scrutinized these posts for any hidden messages or contacts that might lead them to her, but the digital trail was elusive and fraught with dead ends. Interviews with other victims of the same trafficking ring revealed a pattern of manipulation and coercion that mirrored Corinna's experience. These testimonies helped build a profile of how the traffickers operated and the methods they used to control their victims. Despite this, fear and threats often silenced potential witnesses who could provide crucial information. Corinna's case gained significant media attention, bringing public awareness to the grim reality of sex trafficking. The increased visibility put pressure on law enforcement and advocacy groups to intensify their efforts. However, the media spotlight also made it more challenging to conduct a discreet investigation, as traffickers became more cautious and elusive. As the investigation progressed, new leads continued to surface sporadically. Tips from across the country and even from international sources were investigated, but none brought definitive answers. Each new theory or potential sighting rekindled hope, only to be dashed by the lack of verifiable evidence. The involvement of nonprofit organizations and advocacy groups was crucial in sustaining the search for Corinna. These groups provided resources, support for her family, and raised awareness about sex trafficking. Their work ensured that Corinna's case, and others like it, remained in the public eye and continued to receive the attention they deserved. Despite the setbacks, Corinna's family and advocates remained determined. They organized searches, raised funds for private investigators, and kept her story alive in the media. Their unwavering commitment underscored the profound impact of her disappearance and the relentless pursuit of justice and closure. Law enforcement agencies continued to collaborate, sharing information and resources in the hopes of cracking the case. The cooperation between local, state, and federal agencies exemplified the concerted effort to bring Corinna home and dismantle the trafficking networks that ensnared her. Corinna's disappearance also shed light on the broader issue of sex trafficking in New York City. The investigation revealed a network of exploitation that preyed on vulnerable young women, using manipulation and coercion to trap them in a life of prostitution. This network, which included individuals like Ishiwani, operated with a disturbing level of sophistication and ruthlessness. As of now, Corinna Slusser's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. The investigation, while ongoing, has faced numerous obstacles, from uncooperative witnesses to the labyrinth in nature of the sex trafficking network. Despite these challenges, there are occasional breakthroughs that provide glimmers of hope. Recent efforts have focused on leveraging technology and social media to generate new leads. Online campaigns and digital billboards have kept Corinna's face and story in the public eye. This modern approach aims to reach a broader audience and potentially jog the memory of someone with vital information. The involvement of nonprofit organizations and advocacy groups has been crucial in sustaining the search for Corinna. These groups provide resources, support for her family, and raise awareness about sex trafficking. Their work ensures that Corinna's case, and others like it, are not forgotten amidst the countless missing persons reports. Corinna's story has had a ripple effect, leading to increased awareness and preventive measures against sex trafficking. Educational programs in schools and communities highlight the dangers and signs of trafficking, aiming to protect potential victims. Corinna's case has become a catalyst for change, sparking conversations and initiatives to combat this pervasive issue. Law enforcement agencies continue to collaborate, sharing information and resources in the hopes of cracking the case. The cooperation between local, state, and federal agencies exemplifies the concerted effort to bring Corinna home and dismantle the trafficking networks that ensnared her. For Corinna's family, the pain of her absence is a constant reminder of the fragility of hope. Her mother, Sabina Torto, remains a vocal advocate, turning her grief into action by supporting other families in similar situations. Sabina's strength and determination have been a beacon of resilience in the face of unimaginable loss. Corinna Slusser's case underscores the broader societal issues surrounding sex trafficking. It reveals the vulnerabilities that traffickers exploit and the systemic failures that allow such networks to flourish. Her story is a poignant reminder of the need for vigilance, compassion, and action to protect those at risk. As the documentary concludes, viewers are left with a call to action. The fight against sex trafficking requires collective effort, from supporting victims to advocating for stronger laws and enforcement. Corinna's story, though deeply tragic, serves as a rallying cry for justice and change. In summary, Corinna Slusser's disappearance remains one of the most haunting and unresolved cases in recent history. The complexities of her case reflect the dark underbelly of society where vulnerable individuals are exploited and discarded. Yet, her story also highlights the enduring human spirit and the relentless pursuit of truth and justice.